welcome if you new, forgiving your lateness. You streaming in your car, then let it ride. If you on the YouTube, like the video, subscribe. You are now tuned in to the TSP. You are now tuned in to the You are now tuned in. You are now tuned in to the TSP.
Yes, sir. TSP episode 198. That's right, 2 away from 200 deal, and we're gonna talk about that here in a second. But as always, I'm your host Bobby Hall, and with me it's D'Lo. It's Dylan Savage. How we doing this week, my guy?
Doing good, Bobby. Doing good as always. You know, one step at a time, progression over recession, ladies and gentlemen. Just looking to build on each day, being better each day, being better than you were the day before. That's the motto.
Let's go. And like I just previously mentioned, we're 2 away from 200. And after talking about it, I think me and Dylan, we're going to do a live stream episode to celebrate 200 episodes of TSP. We're going to be doing that on Saturday, March 8th, probably around, 9 o'clock, give or take. And, we'll have some guests come on there. I've talked to a few people. I think we're going to do some giveaways. Actually, I believe, Dylan, I forgot to mention during the week, our friend, the show, George, he sent over I believe one of his prints to the TSP email. He's giving one of those away. We'll throw that on the wheel with
Nice.
whatever else put on there. I'm gonna talk to, because I believe Walt is gonna get in there. I'll see if Sav wants to throw some merch on there. We'll have maybe a few different giveaways to throw on the wheel amongst whatever random challenges. So just got a few loose ends to tie up. Other than that, should be a great time, man. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to celebrating another big milestone, man. They've been kind of coming the last. I think we've hit a couple in the last few years, so it's always fun to look back and I guess look forward as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely, dude. It was like 200, even with the break. It seems like it came pretty fast. Then again, it took a long time to get to 200 at the same time. Like,
Sure.
if you're viewing it that way. But it's like, started this thing back in 2019. Pretty crazy, dude. I was in the apartments down in Florida, recorded. I mention it all the time, but I mean, we went from recording in a nursery, seems like you've been almost recording in the same spot. I mean, you went from what? The old place.
Yeah. I was in the basement of the old place.
Yeah.
Kind of like a makeshift station down there. To now kind of having it's also in the basement of the house I've been in since 2021 with a desk. And then, I've bought a newer computer during that time, the mic stand.
Oh yeah.
We're on camera now. So better camera.
Yeah.
Backdrop there. So yeah.
Nursery to closet to another house.
Yeah.
To now we're established, man. We're kind of established here in our roots here until I move again, inevitably. So we'll see what that happens and what adventures bring there. But before we get into all that in 198, be sure, ladies and gentlemen, to give us a follow on all of our social medias. That is at TSP_2019 for all of the latest TSP episodes. We also have been pushing out some clips as well from those episodes to kind of give you a little taste of what to expect during these episodes and maybe what you have missed as well. So make sure you stay tuned to that. We're big on TikTok. We try to push TikTok, Instagram, and X. That's at TSP_2019. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, follow, leave a comment below. Helps with the algorithms to help us push out to new ears and eyes.
Yeah, and we're still clinging on 89 subs, 11 away from 100. So, if there's a few out there that still have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, help us reach. We're talking about milestones. 100 subs is a little mini milestone there along the way. So, if you guys want to help us hit another one before 200, we can celebrate a few milestones that night, which would be cool. So, make sure you hit subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Free, takes a couple seconds, helps us out. But yeah, D'Lo, much better weekend than last weekend. The weather was a lot better. Man, it's just crazy that like 25, 30 degrees feels like, April weather after 5 degrees, negative wind chills. We're going to be into the 40s this week. So
Let's go feel
Hell,
like
man,
summer,
you know,
dude.
might go hit the beach. Who knows? But a
Watch out,
lot
Mommy
better.
Bay State Park.
Everyone is doing a lot better. Like I think everyone's kind of getting over their sickness. So
That's good.
last week is kind of a nightmare, you know. It wasn't the greatest of B-Day weekends because mostly because Mother Nature decided to shit over that. But we're good to go. And then hopefully tomorrow when this comes out, I'm hoping to get cleared to be able to get back into my truck and get back to driving. I've been on the bench here for about a month, and you know, while it's good to be able to heal up and stuff, but I'm basically getting like half paychecks essentially. So I'm ready to get back to the bread and the real grind. So with that, I kind of just, you know, get myself a little, as you can see, reset haircut. Got the face all cleaned up, ready to go, baby. But yeah, yesterday, Saturday, I took the family up to Detroit to Ford Field. They had monster there. That's something that I've been doing that for probably shit, man. At this point, close to 25 years, I think. There's a little gap where we weren't going, as you know, but yeah, I've been watching that stuff for a long time. It's just fun. Still to this day, cheap entertainment. You know, just watching these humongous trucks fly in the air and do all kinds of stuff. The one thing that does kind of suck, I guess, I don't know how long ago they like changed it, but like I guess Monster Jam just stopped bringing in, you know, like the old used cars and shit to get crushed. I don't know if it's like a safety thing. I'm sure probably pricing is got a lot to do with it because I'm probably even just buying junk cars anymore is can be a little costly. But
Yeah.
it's still awesome to watch them jump over these huge mounds and stuff. And I've said it before, I would rather drive an hour up to Detroit to watch them rip up Ford Field than go to Huntington Center where it's just way more compact and a lot smaller in there. You can only do
Yeah.
so much. So, yeah. Plus, I mean, Ford Field is just a really awesome facility. I've been there for SummerSlam. I've actually been there for, I believe, a preseason game. So I enjoy going there. It's a nice spot. Um, it was a little messy down there yesterday because right before that show started, I think the Red Wings had an afternoon game. So that was just like it was kind of a shit show. And so we got down there. It was cold out. Like I said, Jackson Toyer getting over being sick. So we're like, you know, we'll pay the, you know, higher fees to park close, you know, closer than usual.
Sure.
Because usually I'll find, you know, something $25 lot, $30 lot, and we'll walk, you know, 4 or 5 blocks or more. But yesterday we found a lot. It was like $60, and dude, they kind of trapped us in there. So we turn in there. I mean, they're letting all these cars in behind us, so there's nowhere to fucking go really. And these guys come up. The sign says 60, and they're like, "Well, either we can valet your shit for 80, and then or I can't remember what the other option was. It was like $100 for whatever the fuck they're offering, and we're fucking stuck there. So yeah, we shelled out $80 to park. It was, I mean, they just absolutely scammed the shit out of us. 60 was already like, you know, a lot, but then once we get in there, they're like, no, that's for cars only, and I drove my truck up there, so that really fucking sucked. But we ate shit. But once we got in there, got the show, the seats were incredible. They tarp off, I think probably the first 10, 15, maybe 20 rows, obviously just for safety's sake.
Sure.
You don't
Yeah.
know, who knows what you'll have flying up there, but we were probably 10 rows above that. So the seats were awesome. Like I was telling you, they were $20 a ticket. But if Ticketmaster, you know, wasn't doing their legal theft of all these stupid ass fees, you know, it'd be really cheap instead of, you know, paying double the price essentially at the end. But still, it was a fun show. It's something that the kids loved, and I still enjoy it very much. Always have. Like I said, I do miss the car crushing and stuff. That was always cool. They'd bring like RVs and all kind of shit, and just watching these big ass monster trucks rip through them was dope. But now they kind of just focus more on just big air and donuts and stuff like that. Which we'll I got a video and a couple photos from that. But have you ever been to something like that?
I have been to a Monster Jam event. I believe once, maybe twice as a young lad, but primarily been to like motocross back in the old Toledo Sports Arena
Oh yeah.
days. Those were always fun. Great time. And like probably maybe like a Huntington Center would be perfect for like motocross as opposed to what you said. Like the big truck can only do so much in there. So Ford Field was definitely the better move there. And $20 a ticket, dude. That's great. That's like something like back in our childhood. It's probably what our parents were still paying. Like it's good to see that economy hasn't got to those ticket prices.
Yeah, yeah, and we got to because I got an email like Thursday or Friday from Frickers being like, "Here's a free appetizer for a $25 purchase." Cool. So we went and stopped up at Frickers before we headed up, so that was good. Always a good meal there. Um, but yeah, so I got some photos in a video that I sent you just to kind of give you an example of some of the stuff we've seen and what the layout is inside of Ford Field. You can do the pictures first.
Okay. Let's see what we got this one right
Doesn't gotta
here.
be in any particular order, but well, there's that too. Actually, that is a whole other thing. That's not
That's
that's
not
not what I
Monster
went and
Jam.
seen yesterday. But I guess while we have it up there, Dylan, this is crazy. This is unfortunate for me. Fortunately, no one in this photo was hurt, but a lady somehow fucking lost control of her car and crashed. This is Wingstop on Navarre Avenue in Oregon.
Holy shit.
Yeah, she somehow lost control. I have no idea how. I have a feeling she's maybe on her phone and just like realized she's about to fucking smack into somebody's rear and then just like fucking averted. I don't know. Because the way that this angle is to where that light is, I have no idea. And the roads weren't bad, but yeah, I mean, she flew right through here and just absolutely destroyed the Wingstop on Navarre. So your boy's not getting any Wingstop for at least a month, is what the owner said. While they repair, part of me did think about looting him for their ranch, but I decided against. But yeah, I actually have completely forgot about this, but yeah, man, crazy. But she was fine. The lady that drove this car, and fortunately, this was like 9 o'clock, or maybe a little bit before that. I think
Probably
they
before they're open.
report at 9 o'clock, but no one was there, no employees or anything. Because obviously, look, if they were staffed and they were in the midst of like a lunch rush or anything like that, like that people right there are getting crushed. So
Yeah,
that
no
could have
doubt.
been a billion times worse. So very fortunate that at least during um off hours. But
That's nuts.
the bad news is yeah, your boy's not getting any Wingstop for a little while because I'm not gonna drive half hour or 40 minutes to go get Wingstop. Maybe if I'm out and about, but
I've been there.
um
Been there.
yeah, man.
That's crazy. Yeah,
So
there's some people, they forget that the brake pedal's on the left. Probably slammed. Like wanted to stop, hit the accelerator instead out of panic.
yeah, possibly, yeah. I
'Cause, I mean,
haven't
you're
seen
not
an
you're
explanation about it.
you're not going through there hitting the brake.
And as you can see here, it looks like they got the temp plate in the back there. So that I think that's a car that they haven't had that long either. So that's got to really suck for that person
Yeah,
for a lot
that's
for a lot of
brutal.
reasons. And I don't know if her insurance does this or I don't know what all goes into that. But that lady's gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, it all depends. I'm sure there's different variables in the situation of what was going on. Hopefully, there was like no medical issues going on or anything like that. But
But all that
I'm sure
ranch,
it's being
man, it's about to
investigated.
go to waste, Elo. All that ranch.
You should, I mean, yeah, you should hit them up, seeing if like you can still buy like maybe some of their ranch.
That'd be dope. I'll
Support
buy the whole
support the
lot.
rebuild.
You know how I feel about it. But
Shit.
yeah,
Yeah,
if
we got
you
another
want to
picture
pull
here.
up the pictures from Ford Field here, as you can see here, yeah, we had a truck that caught fire yesterday. Did a little rollover, and yeah, they were probably out of commission there for about 5 minutes as those guys were down there fighting the flames, but didn't get too crazy, but that's about as wild as it got as far as fires or anything of that side of things, but you can flip on to the next. I think I got a little bit better of a shot of the entire layout.
Yeah, that one for some reason didn't pull up. So 1 second, 40, 37, 38, 39, 35, 36, 51. And I think it might have been this one right here, 27. That didn't pull up. No, that's it. You got that one. So you said that one caught on. Did you see Gravedigger? Is that Gravedigger? Or is that another truck?
That is not. He was there, of course. Yeah. The GOAT, man. The GOAT.
I can't. It has to be a different driver, though, right?
Oh yeah. Dennis Anderson was the original driver. He's
Right.
like the guy of like monster trucks. But yeah, he retired. I don't know, shit, probably close to 10 years ago. I would say.
Is it like his son or just another driver completely? I don't know how they do
I
it there.
think they got all kinds of different drivers, but I think he has his kids are in the mix, and then they got just a whole fleet. They used to have a dude actually from Toledo that was one of their drivers, which was cool. If that's not working, that's not a big deal. You can just move on to the video. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of like the layout of the land there. There are, as you can see next to that machinery there, they do have a couple of cars. And that's basically, other than that, it's just like big hills. And actually off to the left that you can't see here, but you'll see in the video, is this setup they got where the trucks will kind of just drive up onto it, and then they're doing backflips and shit. And it's just crazy to see trucks that size doing shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's just, one of the reasons that I still love this shit. It's kind of like evolved over the years. You know what I mean? Like back in the day when I was a kid, Jackson's age and stuff, like they just were just driving over the cars, and that was basically it. And that was cool at the time. That was awesome. But as it's evolved into, it's just like, yeah, these trucks flying fucking 40 feet in the air and doing spins and all kinds of shit. So, but yeah, I sent you a video to kind of show the people to get an example of what I'm talking about.
Yeah, let me present that here. Video file. And here.
This is just sick, dude.
Bouncing. Sometimes
there were some people that like they were able to save their trucks. They like do the fucking flip arounds and shit, and they're right back on their stuff and kept rolling, man. Like, it's so cool, dude. I love that stuff. And like I said, hopefully, for forever, it's just cheap entertainment that you can go check out with your family.
Yeah,
like a 3-hour show.
Great bang for your buck.
It's yeah, exactly. I mean, and you don't find anything that price, $20 a pop anymore for a show like that long with that kind of entertainment. You're not gonna find that. Like, even when like wrestling comes into town, you're still paying probably double that.
Per ticket, probably.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that was last night. That was a lot of fun. Kids had a blast. But before we bring our guest on, Dylan, so Twitter now, or X, whatever the fuck you want to call it, has a AI type thing, kind of like a chat GPT type thing, where you can kind of ask all kinds of stuff and have it imagine, scenarios, or have it draw pictures of anything. Like, the first thing I did actually was have them imagine a WrestleMania in Toledo, and it set up the whole fucking thing where it was like, it's at the Glass Bowl, where UT plays. They had a whole match card. It was very Toledo centric. Like, one of the matches was like, they said like Jeep tires got involved, and on the menu was like Tony Paco's hot dogs. It was really cool. So I was like, I wonder if I type in, Talking Shop podcast with you and I, like, what will pop up. And if you want to start throwing those up there real quick, we'll kind of zoom through here just to kind of get a little bit of an idea. So I kind of sent these to Dylan. They're all out of whack, but you can kind of get a little bit of the gist there. But right here, it just says, in short, the Talking Shop podcast with Bobby Hall and Dylan the Savage is a laid back, entertaining listen that skips the political noise and dives into a little bit of everything. Perfect for anyone who enjoys good conversation with a side of humor. And Dylan, that's us right there to a T.
I respect it.
They nailed it, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. But you can throw some other stuff up there. Yeah. So this was like so we frequently featured guests to spice things up, and they included 3. These were the 3 they included: Remy, C Fifth, who we've had a couple times, and then Corey Mitlead, who, like I said, did a live reading on air. These interviews add depth, blending seamlessly with the host's casual discussions. So I mean, and then this is the podcast has been going strong for years, celebrating its 5th year anniversary with a special episode that revisited past highlights and included shout outs from former guests. Bobby and Dylan encourage listener interaction, welcoming feedback via email, and relying on donations to sustain and enhance the show's quality. So just
knocking it out of the park.
100% doing what you would assume AI thing would do. Other than, our boy Joe kind of got lost in the shuffle there somehow, but
yeah. Right here it says where to listen. You can catch TSP on popular platforms like
that was the thing. I
podcast.
don't know what the hell TuneIn is.
It's just another streaming app is all.
Okay.
I mean, we mainly push out YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. That's like what 99% of what people consume through.
Right. Yeah.
But we're also out there on like 8 to 9 other platforms outside of those. So people can stream on anything really that you listen to your podcast on. So the accessibility is there, but primarily based on analytics. The 3 that we push out are primarily used. So that's why we push those out. They also maintain an active social media presence on Twitter and Instagram where they connect with fans and share updates. In short, the Talking Shop podcast with Bobby Hall and Dylan Lesevich is a laid-back, entertaining listen to skip politics. Basically what that first one said in short there. All right. Nice, dude. TSP podcast, officially known as the Talking Shop podcast, rebranding, renaming, is a weekly show hosted by Bobby Hall and Dylan Lesevich. New episodes are released every Monday, offering listeners a dose of casual conversational content. The podcast deliberately steers clear of politics. Instead of diving into a broad spectrum of topics, think personal stories, food reviews, current events, entertainment, and more, all delivered with humorous and lighthearted vibe.
Boom.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's what
We
it is.
should just
man.
copy and paste these and put them in our bio.
Yeah.
Just
especially
let them do the
that
work.
one right there. But yeah, well, this one was funny too. I thought the hosts explore anything and everything that piques their interest, from quirky community events like a chili cook-off or goat rental update to pop culture discussion like Drake's Ghostwriters. They also mix in fun segments like tier lists or rankings and a recurring bit called Around the Mill, where they chat about various subjects. The tone is relaxed, making it feel like a hangout with friends. And that last sentence right there, that was the goal from day one. So I'm glad that
definitely.
that's what they pulled from there.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. So there it is. So it was cool to kind of mess around with that. I'd never really messed with like the chat GBTs or any of the AI stuff. It is kind of a cool little thing they got going there. And it was awesome to kind of be able to throw our show in there. I didn't even think it would know shit about us, but pulled all that out. And so I screenshotted that. I thought it was cool to bring that up over here on the show. But we can move along. We got a guest this week, D'Lo. Another guest. Shout out Alex again last week for coming into the trenches with us on very little sleep. So shout out to him again. This week, done. We got a friend of show, a friend of mine. I met him through another friend of our show, Julian Guzman. Back when me and Joe used to do our little Sunday workouts together with Jay, we would run into this guy into the gym and quickly find out he's a cool dude. He's big. I actually like I got my shirt on here. He's DBZ guy. So right off the bat, that checked off a couple boxes for us. He's into football. He's a little bit of a gambler. He's in the health field, which we'll get into some of his journey through there. And he's big into fitness, Dylan. So that kind of checks a few boxes in your side of things. I'm sure we've had people in the past like that where you've had plenty of questions because you're always trying to reach that sculpted and sensitive peak right there.
You gotta get the S's in your life, baby.
Yeah,
let's go.
Hundo P. So we're gonna bring him on and just get to know him better and kind of share some of his stories and some of the things that he's doing with his Be the Example brand. So very excited to have him on. But today for episode 198, we have with us Sean Crayton. Sean, thank you for joining us and thank you for some of your time, man. How you doing?
Yeah, man, happy to be here. I know we talked about this a while back, and it took a while for us to make it happen, but reached back out, and here we are. So,
Yes, sir. Yeah, we try to make it happen. We finally are making it happen. Excited, but yeah, man. You're kind of me and Joe. I think we've called you like the Super Saiyan version of Jay. You know,
I
Jay's
don't know
already
about that
he's a
now.
big
If you've
built
seen
guy.
Jay, he's huge
Well,
now.
yeah, he is. Yeah, him and my brother actually, because you work out with my brother quite a bit, and yeah, they're both turning in some brick houses, man. It's kind of
Yeah,
scary.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens when you come down to Main Street, man. So,
Yeah, I guess so, man. Yeah,
you
for the
get
longest
kicked out or you
time.
turn into a brick house.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. Shout out
Love
to my
it.
brother Willie. He's a monster in there, so he's getting it done.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll touch all the bases here. But like I said in the intro, you've been in the like health field, nursing. You kind of got out of that now, which I just had learned in the pre-production. But is that always what you wanted to do growing up, or did you pivot towards that, or how did you decide to get into like health?
So, I wanted to be an architect initially. And then I spent a lot of time with my grandma as I was finishing up high school, and she was a nurse for 42 years. And then that was like my second option. And I was like, you know what? And I got to looking into, I'd be in study hall looking at like travel nursing and like how they get bonuses and the money they made. And I was like, you know what? That's my second option. It's what my grandma does. We got closer. I was like, that's where I ended up going directly into. So while it wasn't initially my first, it became my sole focus when I went into college. And that's what I stuck with. So.
I guess in a sense, though, with what you do in the fitness side of things, you kind of are an architect.
Well, yeah.
An architect of bodies.
Not in the
Putting the
sense
plan
maybe that
together.
you wanted, initially, but I guess
Yeah.
in a sense, yeah, man. But
I never looked at it like that, but that makes sense.
yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah, you're building people up, but
Yeah.
so where did you go to school for that?
So I initially went to a private college back home,
Okay.
because I grew up broke and I wanted money right away. So I just wanted to get into school, get out, start my career. But then I found myself like traveling to BG to party on the weekends. I didn't drink at the time, but I would go up there and like, just to hang out and be with everyone. So I ended up transferring to BGSU, and they had a joint program with UT. So I did a lot of my undergrad at BG, and then I got into the joint program at University of Toledo. So I got my nursing from University of Toledo, but it was through BG. So
Because I did the same thing. What years were you down there? We probably brushed shoulders and didn't even know it.
I was at BG from 09 to 14 is when I finally moved from BG. But then I was at UT for nursing between 2012 and 2014.
Damn, yeah, we probably yeah.
Commuting
'Cause,
back and forth.
I had friends that lived at Copper Beach, so I was down there quite a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were always hitting like 149 and them spots
Yep.
down there. So
Yep.
yeah, that was a good time. That was a good time. That was a different era for sure.
That was a different BG. It's not the same now, but that was a great BG.
That was back
100%.
what Club Clazel days.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Cozell had its moments, but it was more 149. And then you had Kamikazes is what it was called, and then it got changed. But yeah.
Nice.
Reverends, man. Dollar Thursdays.
$1 Thursdays, 50-cent tacos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dangerous.
Foreign language these days.
Yeah.
Right. What are those numbers?
Yeah, for real.
So when you did the traveling nurse thing, were you still basically around this area, or were you going state to state?
So I was in a hospital up here in Toledo. I worked at St. V's until 2018, and I knew I wanted to do travel nursing, but you had to have experience, and I wouldn't dare jump out without having the experience. So I started traveling in 2018, and my first contract was only an hour and 20 minutes from here in Toledo, but it was only 20 minutes from where my mom was. So I found this hospital. I was like, you know what? If I'm going to do it, now's the time. And I I jumped. So I I took a contract there. That was still in Ohio. That was my first one. But then I started going between states. But I stayed close enough to home where I could drive back and forth. Like I didn't want to fly or be too far from home in case anything happened because I have family at home. So I was up in Michigan for hopping around hospitals up there, and then during COVID, I was down south in southern Indiana for most of that. So, and that was the furthest I went, which was 5 hours away. But also, my brother was down there, so still closer to family.
Yeah, so we're about to hit the like 5-year mark of like just when the entire world changed because of COVID and just everything that
Yeah.
came with that. Um, as somebody that was like on the front lines, obviously that probably affected the way your job worked, or probably added way more hours and stuff. Um, yeah, what was that like, man, working as a nurse in the midst of a worldwide pandemic?
At first, you were lost, right? Everything
Yeah,
changed on how we did things. I started in the ER at the beginning of COVID, and of course, every person I worked with was a female, and they were all pregnant. So doing initial assessments and how we switch things up came down to me, suited up from head to toe, having people drive through, going out and doing swabs in their nose, like through the ER, setting up ambulances that we would use as extra rooms in case people came in. It was a big fear thing because no one knew what was going on, right? Um, and I had a newborn at home, and so like of course, I'm gonna take the front lines and let people that are pregnant sit back. But then when I switched to ICU during COVID, which is where I was needed most, because of how sick people were getting, um, you know, there was no like face to face with anyone anymore. There was not much of family interaction. It was more of like you had tasks. You were on the other side of things. You would do everything you can to minimize contact with the patient, whereas before you would try to be, you know, as much care hands on as you could be to help them feel more comfortable. Um, and it changed how healthcare, how we did things then, and it's slowly phasing out now though. So everything we put in place then is slowly phasing out back to how it was before, which is nice to see.
yeah. And then you said as of today you kind of got out of that and you are in like a manager type role, like a
Yeah,
supervisor.
so just January, I just started. So I've been in healthcare now for 12 years. This will be my 13th year, and I've always been like encouraged to go into leadership and go into management. But if I'm being honest, I don't like America's healthcare system. I don't like how it operates with insurance companies. I'm not a yes man. And if I took a position in a hospital, I would most likely get fired. But then this came about with the Zeph Center here in Toledo, with substance abuse and helping the homeless population and helping out people that are underserved. And as a director of nursing for their facility and their company, and I applied. It was a long interview process, but yeah, that's what I do now. I'm a director of nursing over at the Zeph Center, and I take care of all like the medical side and nursing side of things, um, under the SUD, so substance abuse disorders and stuff.
That's what's up, man. We got a buddy of ours that we kind of met through TikTok. Actually, he's from Canada, and we had asked him about the healthcare up there and just some of like the numbers he was telling us about, just like a ambulance, ride. I think he said it
Mm.
wasn't like $40 or something
Yeah,
nuts.
yeah, we compared it
Yeah.
to mine
Yeah,
when I had an ambulance ride back when I had a football injury, and I think they got the bill after insurance or something was like $680 just for
Yeah.
the trip. So
yeah,
it's like it's staggering difference for sure from us to Canada.
Us to a
yeah.
lot of places, there's a huge
Yeah.
difference.
Oh
Right.
yeah,
So,
it's crazy, man.
yeah, we pay more, but they wait longer. That's simply put. You
Yeah,
know, it's hard for them to get into places, and they wait longer in waiting rooms, and they wait longer for appointments, but they don't have to shell out as much money, right? They have the time. I
yeah,
mean, you spend one or the other, time or money. So
Yeah.
sure.
Is
Yeah,
that
yeah, that
like
makes sense.
because it's more accessible?
yeah, yeah,
So
and
there's
they
a
don't
lot
have
more.
people that are like the doctors and the people that are serving over there don't have an obligation.
Mm.
They're not pushed by the insurance companies. They're not pushed by having someone that has to pay for it. Right? They do things on their own terms.
Did you have some occasions? Because, like, obviously, for the most part, you're somewhere and you're like, all right, the nurse is gonna come in. It's gonna be like a female,
Mhm.
but was there ever somebody that just was like, what the fuck is it? Because you see this burly guy come in here yeah, I'm gonna be taking care of you today, and somebody's like, well, what the fuck?
All the time, man. All the
Yeah.
time. You get the comments, you don't look like a nurse, or you're not supposed to be a nurse.
Yeah.
Why did security come in here? You're taking care of me, And then like anytime I had to make it a point that if I was going to talk to someone's grandma, I like to, take some of the bass out of my voice and soften up. Like I'm not trying to scare granny and give her a heart attack, I'm here to take care of her. But yeah, there was a lot of that, man. A lot of the you don't look like a nurse, you're not a typical nurse, So but then my question always back would be, well, what's a nurse look like?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, you're another person, because we had another guest on where they're just doing A through Z every day, and I had said the comment of they somehow can turn a 24-hour day into 30 hours with being able to just fit in everything that you do. Because yeah, you work your job, you got your brand here that you do on the side, or full time as well. You're like you just said, you're a dad, you got a family, the whole nine, man. You also take a lot of pride, just like Dylan, into striping the lawn in the summertime,
Yeah,
getting the
man.
lawn mowed.
Grass
Yeah,
gang.
man. How do you juggle everything you do, man? It's a lot.
So I've always been like that. Keeping my schedule full in the day. If I stay busy, I stay out of trouble. I was a troubled kid growing up. I got in a lot of trouble, and then I finally, flipped the switch and found what made it work for me. And through college, it was the same way. A bunch of orgs, staying and working, stay in the gym. And now it's the same way. I take those principles of organization and keep my schedule full and moving on. I'd still like where people put stuff into their Google Calendar or like how they schedule online. I'll still write it out in an agenda every day, what I'm doing every day, and I'll check it off. Like I did this, and I just keep it from time to time through the day. And if I don't stay that way, I get lost, right? If I don't know what I'm doing for a day, like I'm not good at just sitting around. So I get antsy. Like just yesterday, we were sitting around and my leg was going. I don't know why it was going. Amber's like, well, why is your leg shaking? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe because I'm bored. Like, well, we were watching the movie and I was enjoying the movie, but like I wasn't doing something. Like we had just been sitting around all day. But yeah, man, it's if I don't stay busy, idle time and me are not good together. So I keep my schedule full, and it all goes hand in hand, right? So with health, there's fitness. Health and fitness goes together. With being a dad, like I'm big on, you know, staying, being obviously being the example for my kids. They're in cheerleading, so they're active all the time too. And then Amber, I get a lot of help from her with the girls. So if I didn't have help with her with the girls, it'd be a little different on my schedule. But yeah.
Nice, dude.
I like that, man.
Yeah, I respect that a lot. Especially, it probably helps having that supporting cast and a good team with on your side like that. Because a lot of us, I mean, including myself, it's just like Bobby said, 24 hours doesn't seem like it's enough. Sometimes it's like you blink and it's the end of the day. And it's like, I, for one, have like these moments where I'm kind of like beating myself up mentally, where it's like I have the ideas of wanting to do all these things, like an agenda list. I don't write it down, or maybe I even should start holding myself more accountable in that way. But I like the idea of doing a bunch of stuff, but it's actually the doing part that sometimes doesn't get done, or like it's pushed to the wayside, and I get thrown into that idle situation where I don't think I'd go crazy or anything, but I definitely beat myself up saying I should have done this, that, or the other outside of being idle.
Yeah. The plan's there, and the execution has to follow. Otherwise, what are we doing? Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Try the list thing. I do that in other aspects of like my life, as far as like, because growing up, I was just always bad with money. Whatever came in is going right out, mostly for stupid shit. Like we were talking about BG, like going and spending money on drinks and just dumb shit. Waffle House, 3 a.m. Yeah. So like writing down stuff for budgeting stuff has been a humongous help. Makes a big difference. So yeah, Dylan, I mean, he might be on something there with, if you write out stuff for an agenda, it might help you knock out and then like keep you in that mode to get the stuff done, instead of getting to level 1 and then calling it good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm also probably the biggest issue, since we're going to be talking about fitness and being in the gym and all that kind of stuff, getting the S's back in my life, Bobby. It's going to be like, just it's not so much. Sometimes it's the hardest part for people is getting to the gym. That's not so much the hard part for me. It's more so it's about what I do in the gym, getting the efficiency out of the opportunity. And I could probably get sidetracked a lot. Like I'd be like, oh, I just want to do some cardio, warm up a little bit, and then next thing you know, like an hour passed on the on a treadmill or something because I got lost in my phone at TikTok or placing bets or whatever. And then at that time you're looking at the clock, knowing I have to go to bed at a certain time to get ready for the day to redo it all over again at work because I work third shift. So I mean, I'm just trying to look back and maybe I'm trying to cook a meal using an old recipe when I probably should tweak the recipe because that recipe doesn't work for my current status in life right now. I got to change it up a little bit.
You can cook everything in an air fryer, so switch to an air fryer recipe.
Yeah, yeah, there you go.
There it is. That's accurate too. So, yeah, make it happen. Yeah, let's talk about it, man. You got the brand on. You're wearing the brand. You got it in the background. Be the example. Why don't you tell the people who don't know what that is, what that's about, how you got started?
So ironically, I got started. The brand branched off of a business like a coaching business that Julian and I had started way back when we were at Fitness for All. But I started coaching and making plans in college. I did it for free, and I did it all like just from being one that was in the gym all the time. People would come and ask questions, right? And this was before it was big on Instagram, but I started like posting stuff on Instagram. This was back 2012, 2013, where I started posting on Instagram after I had learned like my own stuff myself. And then people would reach out to me. People at college would reach out to me in the rec, and I started writing plans for free and handing them out. People were getting results, and you get that where there's no accountability attached to it because they're not putting their own money into it or anything. It's like I'm doing all this work to give you a plan, yet you're not following it. So I finished college. Focus was in on nursing to get started in nursing. And then once I got comfortable in nursing, I started coaching again and training people again. And then in 2018, we started Mighty Movement, which was our first coaching company between me and Julian. And then I kind of branched off with Be the Example, and started that. 2021, I finally like brought it in and made it a business and official. And that was more so like the idea behind that was being in nursing, you see all these nurses and people working in healthcare telling people what to do to like better their health and to help their situation, and then they weren't doing it themselves. So like I noticed like if you looked the part or like you were doing the actions, people receive that better. So that's the whole idea behind Be the Example. Like I don't really have to say anything. I can walk into a situation and just do it, and then that'll bring like people will pay attention to that. Yes, obviously you explain a lot of things, like you can elaborate and then get into the talking, but the whole idea was that if I could be at a patient's bedside or around my colleagues or in the gym or around my family, and I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, they'll receive it better. And then we can talk about it, right? So, yeah, man, that's where the whole BT came from. It's still out there today. We just went to Sandusky for a cheer competition, and my friend has a barbershop there. My brand is all in his barbershop, and people don't know that this is me. But we're sitting at dinner, and like BT's on the back, and they're like, you go to Hall of Fame? I was like, yeah. He's like, Be the Example there. I was like, yeah, he's like, is that your brand? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I can tell, like,
Yeah.
and then other people in the gym there when I went to work out that morning had my shirt on. He was telling me how he was telling all his uncles and everybody at the family reunion about it. And he's like, we see the brand, and now we see who's behind the brand. It makes a lot of sense. So it's really coming to fruition, and more. I have more confidence in the brand now, knowing that it's actually getting out there. So,
yeah, for sure.
So, you do coaching, you said. So does that
Yeah.
include like nutrition plans, the kind of workouts, like the whole 9 yards, or do you do like a specific area?
So it started with just workouts. I'm not a certified nutritionist. I help people with their meal plans. But like if it's specific stuff, I do refer them out to certified nutritionists because that's not where my license lies. But I do put together a whole plan with ideal meal setups, ideal daily schedules. I helped or the consultation is a very in-depth, long consultation, and it's paper, it's speaking. And then I help people organize their lives who don't, like Dilo was saying, put together a schedule or a checklist. And I do that for them. And I help them to make it so it's easier for them that you really don't have to do any thinking. I take all the guesswork out. You just have to execute. So, and
That's
then I
great. Yeah.
do, yeah. And then I do some one-on-ones in the gym, or like if I'll meet up with clients, I'll travel to them and I'll do like group workouts. But as far as the coaching goes, a lot of it's like just me putting together the plan, individualized for them, knowing their life, giving them an ideal schedule on how to go about their days, and then we check in frequently as they need. Some clients I have check in every day, just because they need a lot of accountability and a lot of motivation, and some I'll just talk to them once a week. But yeah, I try to put everything together for them. It started with just fitness, and it's led into, as I learned and trial and error and got more education from people that were honed in or niched in certain areas. I started adding that into my plans and helping other people. So it's all inclusive now.
That's awesome. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, he's handing out the answer key. It's your job to fill in the bubbles.
It's fact. That's fact. How because there's probably gonna be people that have been looking for somebody like you, but it just didn't really know where to look, or maybe just needed that, I guess, a little bit of a shove. Maybe this show could be that. So if somebody wanted to bring you aboard to help them, map out their route to being fit, how do they get with you and how do they join the program?
So I have a website that has some of our merch, and where there's at the bottom of the website, there's a questionnaire box that is for like consultations. You can fill it out and it goes directly to the company email. That's bte21.com. Very simple. I have my Instagram. My personal Instagram is bte.sean. There's a team Instagram that's there, but it's not fully functional yet. So still deciding which avenue I want to take with that. Obviously, there's a Facebook attached to that with the same name as well. But you can also reach out to me on the team email if you want to go directly to the email. That's be the example 21@gmail.com. So, but easiest place to go is just the website. Everything's on there with all the information. That's bte21.com.
There it is. Dilo, you got any questions?
I mean, questions wise, but I do have to say, like, it helps with the physique that you have, that people kind of stand to attention and want to listen to what you have to say. Because we have a joke on here when we talk a lot of food on the podcast. One of our good friends at Michigan Barbecue, he says, never trust a skinny chef. So it'd probably be the same principles when it comes to being like someone who wants to get yoked, if you will, to listen to someone with your stature and listen up good. Because, I mean, you are being the example of what they want to, aspire to be. So like your words probably way heavier than someone like built like a pencil, for instance, even though there is knowledgeable people out there. I don't want to trash anyone like that, but knowledgeable people out there that are built like a pencil or something that could, be a great coach for those that are like Mr. Olympians out there of the world.
Mm-hmm. No, that's the whole idea, right? If you give a presentation, if there's images or there's something to look at, visualization is better received than just audio, which is why it probably helps that you guys are now on camera or have been, so it, but this was, I haven't always looked like this. I was a very big kid. So.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you look like right now you're ready to suit up for 2025 season in the NFL is what I'm trying to say here. But I'm just trying to be out here getting that sculpted and sensitive look. And while we're still on the health of fitness and health there, I have dabbled in a little bit of the JU ice is what Bobby would say, as far as a little bit of Anavar, nothing too serious or anything like that. But I have been looking into maybe doing some kind of enhancement in that way, being as a nurse, a traveling nurse. So having that knowledge of what it could do to you, and then being I would say like a bodybuilder of such. Would that be maybe something you wouldn't recommend, or does it vary?
It varies, right? And it depends on your goals. So something specific as Anavar is gonna help you shred down and keep some fullness in your muscles. But I definitely wouldn't jump into it without like knowing where you're at naturally.
Blood work.
you
Yeah.
know. So I did a lot of my training and stuff naturally. In 2019, I won Mr. Natural Indiana, and then it was
Nice.
after that that I talked to my coach and like going forward and what we should do. And he suggested that if I want to take it to the next level, I'd have to do something more. So I have not dabbled in anything crazy, but I did start doing a little TRT. My test levels were already lower. I probably could have went to the doctor and got it prescribed, but we had access to it, so he got me started on that. But I would not jump straight into like Anavar or anything like that. I would go blood work route, see where you're at with your test levels and all that before you try any of like the stuff that's gonna have any long lasting side effects.
Yeah, sure. Most definitely. Is that something that could get prescribed based on the results that you have through blood work, or you have to find access
Anavar is
to it?
not something that gets prescribed. You
Right.
would only thing a doctor is going to prescribe is testosterone. Um, but Anavar, Mast, your Tren, your D-ball, all that is like you'd have to get it elsewhere.
Yeah, right.
Fair enough. One thing that I wanted to ask about was I seen that for a little while. I don't think you still are, but you um were on the carnivore diet. And that
Yeah.
was something that kind of was all over. I think a lot of people's like TikTok,
Hmm.
feeds and stuff. Mostly watching people just eat off cutting boards, steak and eggs, stuff like that. And from what you see, and obviously, so on platforms like that, you're really only going to probably see the positives of that.
Hmm.
But you've seen a lot of people dropping weight and saying they got more energy and stuff like that. Um, I'm interested to ask, you straight up, what made you want to jump over to that, and what kind of results did you see from doing it?
Um, so I knew once I switched to this new job and off of nights and back to a regular day shift schedule, I'd have more consistency and be able to hit the gym regularly and have a routine. Um, and I was watching a bunch of carnivore videos and like listening to Joe Rogan and how they spoke about it. And I was like, and I don't want to ever recommend something to a client just because of what I've read and heard from someone else if I can try it myself. So I gave it a go. Um, and it's something new, so it's exciting at first. I went to Costco, bought a bunch of meat, $500 in meat, ready to go for this carnivore diet, and the excitement lasted about a week. Um, that carnivore flu that they call it is real. Your body becomes like a grease chute. You're just shitting all the time, running liquid. I ran out of combinations of how to put meat together and eggs together. That like within the 4 weeks that I did it, I did have more energy. I did feel more alert, but it was nothing more that I would feel if I had already went on like a regular diet that I would do for myself. Right? It's a good reset for your gut. Like I did feel like I reset everything, and I felt good, and like my body was, working well. Um, but I already know what works well for my body after how many years I've been doing this. So I didn't need that to like do the reset and then start introducing things because I knew where I needed to go. Um, and I don't know. I preferably like carbs with my meals. I like vegetables with my meals. I like fruit with my meals. I can't do just meat. But I did it, right? I committed to 4 weeks. I did it for 4 weeks. Um, I dropped 15 pounds, the 10 pounds in the first week, which was crazy. Just a lot of inflammation, a lot of water, everything flushing out. But I could tell that it was the way I train in the gym, it's not conducive to doing the carnivore diet. Like I needed the energy from the carbs and I needed the glycogen. And as soon as I started introducing carbs back in, my lifts went up. Like everything got better in the gym. My endurance in the gym went back up. Not to say the workouts were good, but it just it wasn't for me. I may recommend it or it may be for someone else, but it's not a diet that is um, conducive to doing long term unless you're like needed for an ailment. You need to like reduce inflammation, reduce stress, or you need like to see if it's going to help with like diabetes or something like that. um but I would recommend it for a reset, but I wouldn't do it long term, no.
Yeah. Now, with everyone being different, there's no specific, I guess, blueprint model that works for everyone. I mean, everyone's different, react differently to different diets and workout plans and such. Now, do you just build those off of, you said it's very extensive consultation that you go through to figure out what works best for those individuals.
Yeah.
But what kind of variables do take place in that outside of the goals and I guess the physique from the start?
As far as like how to recommend what they should be eating.
Yeah, what they should be eating, maybe their process of how much they should be working out throughout the week, what they should be doing during those workouts.
So a lot of it comes based on what's their job, right? Is it sedentary or are they active? What are they eating now? How are they eating now? And are they working out or doing anything? I don't. So when I first started, I thought I would just throw like what I was doing at people and like what I thought was working for me.
Right.
And now it's more of like I got to know where they're at, start them slow, build them up. So I do a really in-depth consultation and questions up front because I'm big on like I want your base plan to be as close to perfect as possible. I know it's not gonna be, but this is where we're gonna start, and we can make adjustments from there. So if they have like chronic illnesses or anything that would like make me choose between, whether they need more of a certain like macro or a certain type of diet, that's what comes into play first, right? I'm not going to ever endanger someone by putting them like if they're diabetic, putting them on a high carb diet, and then we go into DKA or something, and they would know that, but or if they have chronic like heart conditions, and I'm putting them on something that's going to affect that or put them at risk for that. So medical ailments always come in first, and then like their lifestyle now and what they're doing now, and then I make them do a food log of what they're eating. Don't change anything. Eat how you're eating. Send it to me, and then I'll adjust off that as well. I don't get specific. I used to get really specific on like macros that you have to hit this protein, you have to hit this carb, you have to hit this fat, and now it's more of I have a protein goal for you. I want you to hit that. Let your carbs and fats fall where they may. We'll adjust from there, just to get them into the idea of like tracking something, and then we progress from there. And that's majority of what my starts are now. So I don't do a lot of like people that are competing. I don't do preps for people much anymore. It's more of like getting people started in this consistency and learning how to be disciplined with their food. So we don't really pay attention and do specific diets. It's more of here's what I need you to do. Here's the idea, your ideal meal setup and snacks for the day, and then we'll move on from there. But I don't recommend like the carnivore diet or a keto diet or we're going to do low protein, high fat, like none of that. So
yeah, so basically, like Bobby said, you kind of are an architect in a way. You're building a solid foundation for them to build their new house. So it's a great kind of aspect to look at. Now, do you subscribe to the idea of just it's as simple as burning more calories than you are intaking to lose weight? Is it as simple as that, or is there more complex?
Losing weight as far as on the scale, yes.
Yeah.
How you want to build your body really comes down to what you're doing resistance wise and the kind of calories you're taking in.
So, man, it basically, I've always thought, and I was always under the assumption that a lot of fitness is coming down to what is going on in the kitchen more so the gym. So it's probably more of like, I've always been told like an 80-20 split where 80% of like your physique is going to be coming what you're consuming in the kitchen as opposed to what you're putting out in the gym.
And that's the perfect scenario, right? For the 80-20. And they've always preached 80-20 for physical to what you eat, or 80-20 on like your diet, like 80% clean, 20% processed. But it all comes, again, now when I do it all inclusive and everything, it takes into account everything that plays a role in it, right?
Right.
Where you work night shift, I work night shift. I know my ability to hit goals and be leaner and stuff while working night shift is a lot harder than if I'm on a day shift schedule.
Yeah.
So, and you have that inflammation aspect, right? Where you're holding a lot of water and you may seem like you're getting heavier or you're not losing weight, but it's there. If you take a day to rest and it comes off and you see actually, I am losing weight. But I feel that what you do in the kitchen and how you eat in the kitchen really supplements more 50-50 what you're doing physically wise. Because if you're just walking and still in a calorie deficit, you're going to lose the weight, but you're also going to lose, muscle. It's not, you're not really putting on anything. You're not holding on to anything. But if you're doing resistance training, you're building your body up. You're building your defenses. You're building the temple how you want it to look, and then you're fueling it and recovering in the kitchen. So while people say it's 80-20, in my eyes, you know, it's 50-50, because if you're not doing the work, how you eat's really not going to matter.
That's a fair point. I do like that. Yeah, it's like you got to visualize your muscles as like a car engine. The food you're eating is the fuel for that engine. You don't want to put shitty fuel in a car and
Right.
expect to run like a sports vehicle. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
I mean, that makes perfect sense. It takes two to tango.
Yeah.
After doing the carnivore diet, are you off steak for a while? Is that one of the, like, because you just had it so much, or?
Oh, no. I could never be off steak. That I will always eat a good steak, right?
Yeah.
I'm still eating all the same meats and eggs. I'm just adding the carbs and the fruit back in. Just I'm not eating as much at once. Whereas like I was eating 20 plus ounces of steak at a time. Now it's back down to 8 ounces of steak, and I'll eat it with, you know, sides. But I didn't get tired of meat. I just got lost in how many times I could combine different things together, right?
Sure.
And I
Yeah.
would rather combine it and eat appropriately to fuel my lifestyle, whereas the carnivore diet didn't really fuel my lifestyle. So
I feel that. And I because you post some pictures, man, and it looks like you can make a mean steak. So I've seen some stuff you've done on the grill. You're out there doing some things. You
you know,
got
I
me
try.
hip to Gator Bait barbecue sauce. I don't know if that's a friend of yours or somebody you know,
Yeah.
but I think
Yep.
I seen you make a post about them maybe last summer or something like that, and I ended up making a purchase too, which that was, you know, solid stuff actually. You know, a little free plug there, but yeah, man. I mean, one, because your Instagram stories are always vast, you know, of all subjects. Like I said,
Hmm.
you got your fitness, you'll talk work, gambling. You always mix in a lot of Dragon Ball Z stuff,
Yeah.
which you know, kind of gravitated me towards you know, you. Who what, you know, while we're on the subject, man, who's your number one DBZ character?
Oh man, it's gonna seem cliche, but it's Goku. I
Okay.
mean, and simply because he's humble. He, as strong as he is, as fierce as he can be, he is nice and he's humble. He's a gentle fucking hero, you know. So that's why it's Goku. I mean, yeah, people make a play for other characters, and anytime someone says Goku, they're like, "Oh, that's all you know." Like, no, that's my reasoning. He is a very humble, strong hero, and he always builds everyone up around him. Like he makes people better, and that's why I like Goku. It's more than just a storyline of Dragon Ball Z. It's where it plays at in life. So.
Where what would you rank his father skills?
Eh,
Yes,
he's an example, but don't ask him to explain anything.
right.
Right.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, no, I don't hate that at all, man. Goku's the man. And like I said, yeah, he's humble. Cell games, you know, he knew he wasn't the strongest, so
Hmm.
he leaned on his boy. We all know how that worked out. So yeah, I agree with that. I like that a lot. But yeah, we're gonna rearrange the letters on that shirt. It says BTE. We're gonna say BET bet because you do a little gambling. You know,
Yeah, a
you've
little bit.
posted some tickets on the IG stories, like I said. Dylan, some of these numbers are gonna blow your mind. But Sean, tell him some of these parlay, you know, winnings that you've gotten before. They're wild.
We're not going to talk about the winnings before we talk about the fact that I lost a lot in the beginning.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So I've only been betting for 2 years total now. This will be going into the third year. The first Philadelphia Super Bowl, I placed one bet and I was like, all right, I'm done. You know, that was it. And but so I got into it again at the beginning of not this most recent NFL season, but the last. And I was hitting $3,000 winnings off $20. And I was like, oh, I can do this. And you know, you get that first win, you get excited, and then you go on a losing streak. But where I really started, like I went through that, had to go through that process. Everyone goes through that where they, you know, they lose and they get, you know, they want to be done with betting. But beginning of this NFL season is where like I really like learned a little more control. Like just because they give you 25 legs, don't mean you have to use 25 legs. So that first Brazil game with the Eagles and the Packers, I was at work. I It was a no sweat bet. I put a $50 bet on a 9-leg parlay that, I kind of went through, did some research, knew who the speedsters were, knew it was Saquon's, game as a Eagle to set the tone, and I won a $23,000 off $50 that game on that
Judas
single
Priest.
game. I was at work when this happened, man. I got excited. My hands were shaking. I told the doc, I was like, "Don't even ask me to put in an IV. I can't right now." Like, but
Golly.
since then, I've like really honed in on like learning how to like understand the books, understand like where the money is. Doesn't mean that's where it's ideal, and this should hit. Is not always going to hit. And like really following other people that do it and learning their techniques. And now I rarely do full 25 leg parlays, but a lot of my win. I just won 2 weeks ago, 5,400 off $25. 2 weeks before that, to start the year, I won 30. They were 3,300 a piece, but they were both $20 tickets. Just this week, right after All-Star break, I won $600 off 50 the first night, where there's a full slate, and then last night I won another 400 off 40. And I've learned not to like put in a bunch of money, but like be smart about your tickets, and it's paying off now. After you go through your losses, but I'm no expert, I'm no gambling guru, but people that are there, the advice they give, it's if you take it, you can win too. And a lot of stuff I do now is if I do any extra tickets, they're straights. And been lucky enough that those have been hitting, and that's where I'll put more money into. But I don't risk a lot, but the reward is there, and when it does hit, it's nice.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is, dude. I'm over here. I might be $5,000 in the hole right now, but what are your, like, I guess some people just bet off gut. Some people, like you said, you did a research. Do you are like a more of a trend better, or?
So I'll look at the trends, and there's a lot of like, now it's so much easier to find, like people post free stuff all the time where it says like these are the trends for the last 10 games or the trends. So whereas when you first started, there was none of that. So now if you follow the trends, the books know the trends are out there. So like I used to follow the trends, and like I'm like, okay, this and this should happen. Well, the most obvious one on the trend that should hit doesn't hit.
Right.
So now like I don't really pay attention to the trends anymore. Like I'll go through and like think of like how they played in the past, like against that team, or how they should play, and like I'll make a ticket off that, and then I'll go through and I'll look at like, so I use a site, it's called covers.com. They'll post like all projections, like as if like these people that you have to pay for their groups, where they're doing the same thing with AI, like it's all out there for free. And then I'll see like off name people who like a lot of people aren't going to bet on. They'll give a projection, and I'll bet on like their projection, and then those are the ones that typically hit. Like the tickets that I hit the most on are the ones where it's people that not a lot of people are looking at, and they'll have their nights.
Yeah. I mean, I want to say anything. I mean, I just said I'm $5,000 in the hole, so take it for what you want, for what it's worth. But I mean, I do the same thing. Obviously, a lot less lucky with that aspect of things from the winning standpoint. But I mean, you got to pay more. Your tickets have to be cost more to win bigger. Because I mean, the tickets I do win, they'll be like $5, like especially if they're like 10+ legs or something like that. Trying to have like a good time with parlays, even though they say parlays is losing money. It's great. It's more exciting. So like I placed like $5-10 on it or whatever. And of course those ones would hit, but if I placed any more, it probably wouldn't hit. But I try to look at the trends. I look at the head-to-heads. I look at the, I guess like, the injury reports for NBA and stuff like that, because they always come out so late. I mean, it is what it is, but I don't know, man. I look at another website. Covers is something I'm familiar with. Doink, I think doink.com is another one that has some pretty good information on there for head-to-heads and weather and stuff. But it's just like I try to make sure everything correlates together. The research from one place is backing up the research from another place, and like you said, it doesn't always hit all the time. So I have to find the winning ones, man. Where are the winning tickets at?
Right. We can just be given those, right?
Right. I know. Come on.
I'm trying to subscribe to the winning tickets.
Yeah, I've seen. I think you posted it too. The 20,000. they immediately took the taxes out of that, didn't they?
Yeah, so as
Which is, I
soon
guess,
as you
kind of nice.
if you make anything over it's an odds, right? So anything over 1 to 300 odds, they'll immediately take taxes. Um if it's over the number where so in Ohio they say you're supposed to report anything over 600. If you make anything over the 1 to 300 odds and it's over 600, they'll immediately take taxes. And they took $5,000 in taxes on that win right away before they paid it out. But then that same weekend, I won another ticket, was $20, and I won 2,400. So I mean, I kind of got some of that back, but
Yeah, that's true.
Fuck.
Yeah. Your time's coming, Dylan. It's coming.
Hey,
yeah, you can't win if you don't play, man. That's why I tell people, you're gonna have your losses. Risk what you can risk because your wins are coming. So
you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, they say.
there you go.
Yeah, at least for me, like I've won the most money in like the sports that I don't really watch regularly. Like soccer was a big one, hockey, baseball. I've done pretty well there. But then like football and basketball is kind of like give or take. But it's fun, man. I'm glad because there's people like just up in Michigan. If you cross up in Michigan and you get on DraftKings, they got the online casino too. So if that were to ever come to Ohio, I've said it before, I'll be in big trouble probably. Just to be able to jump on the blackjack table on your phone. Oh my god.
Oh, dude, it got me. So I worked in Michigan for my contracts, right? So I'd win, and then on my drive home down 75 in Ohio, I'd be playing blackjack, just driving, playing.
Yeah, man.
And then it's like, all right, I'm about to hit the board. I put it all in for the last hand, about to hit the border and lose it all. So everything I won that night, I lose. So I just stopped playing blackjack altogether on the online casino. Like, I'm losing everything I'm winning. So
yeah, I sometimes cross up in there for work and stuff, and then I'll play some blackjack, and it's just like holy shit, the feeling that has come over me. Like if I was to live here regularly, or like I said, if it was in Ohio, man, I'd have to lock my account or something.
in trouble,
It's
laying there bored and
so
playing
easy.
blackjack.
Yeah, 100%.
Nothing really beats the feeling of actually being in the casino, though, being in that surrounding environment of actually being able to hit the table, the physical table.
Yeah. The big thing about blackjack and casino is energy, man. You gotta find the right energy at the table. Right dealer, right energy, and that you can have a time.
Oh yeah. You started getting a crowd around you, hyping you up. That's when you made it.
The best.
Right.
Oh yeah, I love that. But we're gonna touch a little food, man. We like to talk about food here on the show, and like I previously stated, you post a lot of your dishes on your stories and stuff. So I know that you're grilling and thrilling. What would be if somebody just came to you like we want the signature Sean dish? What are you whipping up for us, man?
Of course, steak.
Okay,
we're gonna do
steak. How do we take it?
Medium rare. How do you take it?
No.
If it ain't medium rare, you got to go. I'm not cooking any worse. I'll go medium for the lady. That's about it.
No, mid rare. That's the show right here. We ask, and we've gotten some answers that I can't believe. Some people that out there should just be eating hamburgers over steak with how they get their steaks done. But yeah, we're mid rare.
They just want a pork chop at that point.
Yeah.
Right. I got turkey in the closet. You can have some of that.
100%. Steak. Okay, I like that. That's acceptable. What's your favorite cut? You a strip guy or you ribeye?
Filet.
Okay.
Filet.
Yeah.
Being down in southern Indiana, right there on the Kentucky border during COVID, man, every Monday, me and my brother would hit a different steakhouse. So bourbon and steak every Monday. I tried every cut, and then we had some Wagyu while we were down there. But I always come back to the filet.
No hate there. Dylan, you're you ribeye guy?
I'd say primarily ribeye. I tried an aged Wagyu one time for an anniversary dinner that we had at a steakhouse. Most expensive meal I've ever paid for in my life. But it was worth it, man. It was good. But I think primarily if going to like your Texas Roadhouse or whatever, I'm getting the ribeye probably.
That's what I got at last Monday, actually. I went to Longhorn. I got their outlaw ribeye. Got to get the Parmesan crust on top of it, man. It's just something that takes that steak to the next level. That's incredible.
Noted.
Yeah.
Are you a toppings guy on all your steaks?
No.
Parmesan
Just here
crust,
because it's
onion,
just like
there.
my buddy put me on, and I was like, Parmesan crust. I was like, all right, I'll try it. And it's incredible. Otherwise, I'm usually kind of plain Jane, or I don't know. I'll do some like sautéed onions at like a Texas Roadhouse, but at the crib, yeah, it's just plain Jane, man.
Yeah,
nice loaded baked potato.
Garlic butter on there.
I like Brussels sprouts. Yeah, oh yeah, some roasted Brussels sprouts. That's where it's at.
Yeah.
That's what I'm waiting for, man. I actually 2025. I haven't been able to light up my grill yet, so I'm waiting. Maybe this week, 40 degrees out. I think it might be time, man.
I look out that back door all the time out at the grill station, just waiting. It's coming, man. It's coming.
I can't wait. I wish because I got mine sitting out back. Some of my friends, they got their grills like in the garages, so really you can kind of do whatever. But I can't go out there when it's 5 degrees out, man. No way. Can't do it.
I mean, you could. But...
Yeah, I guess. You could, but that would not be a good time. But before we jump out of here, I guess we already did kind of touch on sports a little bit, but we see what you got hanging up back there. You need some more Buckeyes gear, man. That's what we need. Let's kind of cancel out some of that black and yellow.
It's on this half. You can't see it.
Oh,
so
okay.
The way my basement is set up, my entertainment station back here in the corner, Steelers is all on that side, Buckeyes on this side, DBZ in this corner and down there, and then the girl stuff is over there in front of my books and stuff. But okay. I got it, man. It kind of worried. I can flip it next time, and you can just see all the Ohio State stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, part 2, we'll get the Buckeyes in the background. That'd make me feel a little bit better, because me and Dylan, we're lowly ass Cleveland fans. So,
well, Jameis did his 30 in the winter game, but the snow game. So you got it.
We haven't won in Pittsburgh since 2003 and Tim Couch, so it's it's all right. We can take a couple here and there.
Right.
We can defend our own turf. I do want to ask though, while we're on the subject of Pittsburgh here, what are your predictions for the Steelers coming season with some quarterback questions?
Oh, there's more than quarterback questions, man. Did you see our free agency list?
That's pretty lengthy.
Everyone. Yeah. Everyone. So I don't know. Normally we have a good draft. So, I'm looking forward to see what they do there. But I feel like that's how they approach like the draft is really going to depend on who they bring back. But I really want them to franchise Justin Fields. He's still learning. He's learned a lot. He learned a lot from Russell. If he can get that Russell moonball down, then he'll be a threat. But he's a good kid, man, and he could be a good quarterback with the right coaches. So I don't see anyone else.
On Pickens, man, is he worth keeping around? I feel like he can be a good wide receiver, but it doesn't ever hit that next gear, and then like he likes to yap and
he's good to keep around when you're feeding him the ball, but if you're not feeding him the ball, he doesn't play, right? If nothing's coming his way, I don't know if any other coach in the league is going to be able to coach him up like Tomlin is, right? Because that's like Tomlin's strong suit is coaching up troubled players. Before Kyron Lacey from LSU got in trouble with what he did, they were already projecting him to come to the Steelers so that Tomlin could coach him up, right? So I don't know. He's good. He plays his role when he's fed the ball, but his attitude is just it has not changed since Georgia. So.
Fortunately for you guys, you guys got a lengthy free agent list, but you guys draft very well, and you guys coach your players up very well. That's basically the opposite of what happens for us, Dylan. But so the holes that you may potentially have will probably get filled up in the draft, and they just kind of always seem to cycle them out, especially on defense. You guys can just cycle them out, and they come in and they ball out. You guys always pick up Buckeyes, which sucks. Always annoys me, but. I'm sure you probably love that, man. Yeah.
You did any answers on Miles yet? How do you feel about that?
That's a tough scene.
Sore subject.
That's a tough scene. Me and Dylan talked about it a few times. It's just like even if they somehow coerce him into staying, it's not going to be the same now because we watched him, especially during Super Bowl week, go on like a speed dating run with all the football teams, basically just like, yeah, get me the fuck out of here. And I get it to a sense, obviously, like he's, top two, at what he does, future Hall of Famer, and just like this team just sucks every year. But
Yeah.
I don't know, that whole like the way he's kind of gone about it has been tough to see. But I mean, at this point, if you know he's gonna walk, you might as well get a haul for him because
Yeah.
teams. I know teams are calling, but I
Yep.
think Dylan, am I right in saying that nothing will happen until after June, right?
At the very earliest, the start of the league year would be March 16th, I do believe.
Okay.
But I don't think they have any plans on trading him. Just from a contract standpoint, if they were to trade him, it costs them like 30+ million in dead cap. Which, I mean, with the Watson deal being atrocious, they don't see that happening. Adding to that fuel to that fire of. But I mean, their cap. You can hate on their front office all you want, but they're like one of the best at managing the cap. No, I don't think any other team would be able to handle the Watson cap the way that they have. Maybe the Saints, because they kind of fall under the same umbrella of like for like the Saints, like the cap doesn't exist. Like they're able to just move numbers around and make it work. Like they're already talking about restructuring Watson's contract, so don't be surprised to see that coming up so they can create more room. They just released the NFL new cap. What are they like? The new cap levels are like 30+ million more dollars than it was last year. So that creates more space for everyone and it helps the Browns out, obviously. But Miles said he'll do anything to get out of Cleveland, which was another dagger to our hearts. And wouldn't it be the same if he came back? Because he said he would even restructure his contract if it helped relieve that cap struggle to get out of there. But I mean, we haven't done anything with him. So I mean, who knows? He certainly isn't going to choose where he's going to go. He wants to go to a contender, but we're going to get with the biggest haul that we can. I don't care if it's in, I don't know, the Jaguars or because we get first round picks, but we want to pick up high in the first round. We don't want to be picking like 30th in the first round. What is that going to do for us? So
Right.
I mean, he has no say in where he's going to go. So he's either going to stay and get a contract extension and be the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history, or he's going to get traded more than likely before the season starts. So, but I mean, speaking
of Miles for TJ straight up.
No.
See, speaking of TJ though, I heard that he's going to be wanting some.
Is he on the list? Deal. Is he on that list? The free agent, or is that next year?
Yeah, he is.
Some say they want maybe possibly trade him. He's been kind of a ghost when it matters the most. What say you?
Yeah, no. So if you look at all the games towards the end, he was getting double and triple teamed every time. And that was freeing up everybody else on the other side when they were getting a chance to get in. So yeah, he didn't, wreck the game like he normally was before. Yeah, he's getting a lot more attention. And he just had a kid. So
there it is. He'll probably re-sign, man. I think he likes it there.
He's going to make, with what happened last time he got an extension. There was a whole, story behind it. Maybe something going on behind the scenes. Then he became the hero because he just went in the office and slammed his fist down and said, "Give me the contract, I'll sign."
Pittsburgh and Cleveland are kind of similar, in the upcoming seasons, just because both teams, if they get a legitimate quarterback, they're in good shape. That's kind of where, obviously both teams have some holes to fill, but really like number one glaring, especially for us, Dylan, is just getting a good quarterback, and that would obviously kind of shadow some other spots, just like, with the Bengals, like their defense was dog shit, but you got Joe Burrow throwing for 1 million yards.
Yeah.
So
he had a year.
Yeah. Kind of hides all that. So then they got, some stuff to figure out over there on that side too. Like you're going to want to pay two guys on your receiving core, 100 million or whatever each, which they might. But we'll see, man. Yeah, it sucks. AFC North is just it's brutal division, man.
Yeah. All the pain and suffering from last season, one of the worst seasons, and we've seen 0-16 and 1-15 back to back, Bobby. And that was probably one of the most brutal seasons that we've experienced in a long time, if ever. I'm excited for next season.
Are you a Tomlin guy? Because one thing that annoys me about a lot of Pittsburgh fans is like, you guys have had it so good that like, guy just getting in the playoffs now, which I get. I mean, I get it to a
Yeah.
degree coming from us where we don't see any of that shit. But like Tomlin's never had a losing record. He's been incredible. He's already got two rings, I think, right? Or at least definitely he's won.
Yeah.
And then you see people kind of wanting to put him on the chopping block.
I'm a big fan of Tomlin. People want to win in the playoffs. They want to get to the Super Bowl, but like, you also got to take into account that he's actually making it to the playoffs, right? Like with the teams he's had and the rebuilds he's had to do, like we haven't had those crazy like dominant teams, but we've been getting it done. Like we've started out strong, have had issues here and there, but they're still figuring it out. And even with figuring it out, he's having winning seasons. You can't go into the playoffs and expect to continue to just scrape by, right? Not everybody can be Kansas City. And we take our losses, but he's still a great coach. I don't think anyone out there is gonna be able to do what he's done, or take over from where he's at now and do better, right? So I'm with Tomlin. I'll stay with the Tomlin train until he's ready to be done himself.
I respect it. D'Lo, before we put a bow on it, I mean, you got anything else or ready to roll out?
I think we covered all the bases there, Bobby. We talked sports, food, health,
You got a little
fitness.
talk in there. Yeah, everything on the sun.
You got your little Dragon Ball Z questions in.
Right.
Let's go.
Right. That's always a win.
That's always the goal, man. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Before we do finish off, Sean, just plug the website again. Plug where they can find you. Ways they can get with you about business stuff or anything along those lines.
Yeah. So the website is www.bte21.com. And that's where you can find at the bottom of that page. That page itself has all the information about the business. There is a merch store on there. And then we will be having more of these shirts dropping. And then the email is betheexample spelled out 21 at gmail.com. And then on Instagram, my personal Instagram is bte.sean. I have a TikTok. I've had it since 2018, but I never posted it, and it's one of the biggest regrets in my life because the way TikTok took off. Yeah.
I hear that. We just started to take our TikTok seriously and kind of seeing. I mean, we're not doing anything like crazy number wise, but I mean, we're still hitting 4-digit views and stuff like that. So had we started, as it took off, who knows where we'd be at. But yeah, I 100% agree. But Sean, it's been great to talk to you, man. Like I said, we try to set this up for a while. Glad we finally made it happen. It's been great to get to know you better and some of the stuff you're doing. And I think a lot of people that'll tune in will dig what you're doing, and hopefully we shoot some traffic towards your way, man. But we appreciate it. But Dylan, what time it is, baby.
Yes, sir. And it did come up to my attention briefly that Sean is our first time guest on TSP. And we normally get them prepped up, primed and ready for the question for a first time guest, Bobby. But you might have one more question for our friend here, Sean, that we normally ask our first time guests.
You're right, Dylan. I'm glad you pulled that out. That's my fault. Yeah. All right, Sean. So I usually tell our guests in pre-production, so this is going to come off the cuff, but we ask, knowing what you know today, what is one thing you would tell your 18-year-old self?
Invest in Bitcoin.
There it is. Smart move.
Yeah. I still regret that because being the nerd that I am, I was looking at it while I was in college and thought it would be shit. I didn't get into it until 2017. So invest in Bitcoin.
Yeah, I would love to know that knowledge.
Yeah.
Don't miss this train. This ain't financial advice, but XRP to the moon. That's what I'm calling it.
Let's go. I hope.
Might have just created a ripple effect.
Yeah, there you go. No pun intended.
Baby.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dylan, good save. Carry us out.
Yes, sir. It's been a great pleasure, and thank you for your time there, Sean. Hope everyone has a great week. Enjoyed the episode. Again, be sure to go follow, support BTE, and go support TSP at TSP_2019 on all social medias. We mentioned TikTok. We got Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Don't care. Instagram as well. And hope you guys enjoy the show. Leave a comment down below. Make sure you subscribe, like, all that fun stuff. From myself, Bobby, and Sean, have a great week, friends. Got 2 more to go to 200, baby. 199 coming up next weekend.
Cool.
Take care.